Computer Science Predictions by Lori Wired. Your RAM is an illusion. The moon needs a new time zone. Compiler stuff.
Yeah, she is amazing. She's absolutely amazing. If you're not following her, you're missing out. And she's a Google researcher. Makes incredibly complex topics, really easy to understand. And one of the things that I learned about here was what's called a CXL. And I put in, here's a Wikipedia link to this. But basically, and I think this is one of the other items that we skipped through, was RAM shortage, right? So we are dealing with a RAM shortage, and like there's not enough RAM, like literally. We're trying to get creative with what to do about that. And one of the things is this kind of mesh, kind of like a network attached storage, or these hyperscalers that can make these logical units of CPUs and disk and RAM made available, is this way of having an incredibly high speed and high capacity connection to CPUs that is not quite as fast as RAM, but pretty darn fast. Like right now, we just have this huge drop off between what's the next thing after RAM is just swap to disk. And yeah, maybe you can have an NVMe disk and it's not as bad as an SSD, or at least we don't have magnetic disks anymore. But we need something in between disk and RAM, and that's what CXL is. And so now we're to think about like what future kernels and what future things are going to do to overcome this RAM shortage.
It's funny, like I was lucky that my dad taught me programming, and he always told me it's like the cache is like something having it in your hand, and then having something in RAM is like having it in your pocket, and then having it on disk is like storing it on the moon. Like that's the order of magnitude that you're dealing with.
Yeah. So I think this is going to be a very welcome addition. Just yesterday, I think Carpathy posted about there's some interesting things happening on the other side of the spectrum that are very interesting, that are like faster than GPUs, kind of like Cerebras level inference speed. There's these interesting startups coming up with things that are 16,000 tokens per second. And so that's amazing. And to start to think about what kind of hybrid infrastructure architecture could we envision that would have some level that is like that super high speed SRAM, versus a GPU VRAM versus something like CXL, and then have this tiers of performance that can help you maybe get more capacity and optimized throughput.
It's kind of funny. Like we went through this era. I grew up in the buying beige boxes and really fussing over the specs of everything. And I could probably rattle off the specs of all the computers I owned for a long time. And then we just got to this era of whatever, just buy a ThinkPad or a MacBook, and it's going to be good enough because whatever you're doing is on the cloud anyway. And now we've circled back to, we care about hardware again. It's just 1,000 times more expensive, but we really care about it again. So it's kind of cool. I'm enjoying nerding out on it. I do miss the era of like as much as I sometimes think, can I get an 8X B200 box and put it right there? No, that's cost more than my house. Not going to happen. But it's cool. Also, I wanted to highlight real quick, while we're on this YouTube video, you might see on the screen share this thing called LearnLens on the right. So this is another Trilogy AI COE or Trilogy product where it's a Chrome extension. You can download this right now. It will look at the transcript of the YouTube video and build up a list that you can look at. So this is from the transcript. It gives you this lesson, these cool diagrams, talking about talking about everything the video talks about, but in a very succinct yet nice way. You can get to the key points in the video. This is generated from our parsing of the video. It'll also help you do a knowledge check. So kind of some of the stuff that are important. You can open up a chat that has this video loaded up as context. So check out LearnLens. That's a neat way of understanding, getting some extra squeeze out of the video and really try to understand it. Because it's easy to have YouTube playing in the background and you realize you're not paying attention. but trying to recenter yourself on what they're actually talking about. So that's LearnLens. If you see that on my screen, go check it out. We'll have a link to that as well. So that's this. Okay. What did you think about that clip? I hope it was useful. Check out the link in the description for the full episode. And we have new episodes coming out every single week, sometimes several times a week, about the latest AI news. We're doing a deep dive into OpenClaw soon. Check out our Substack. Follow us on all the different social media programs. Ask us questions, and check out our Discord, where we have lots of good AI chat discussions. Links are all in the description. See you next time.